Hello, hello. Am I live? Am I live? Okay. Can I do anything about that light? I think that might be as good as it gets in terms of the light. There's just going to be a light thing here. Okay. Okay. Real quick. I just need to see. Okay. I'm gonna leave the chat open, but I need to make sure people are seeing this. Okay. Shit. Okay. This is complicated. I kind of have two live streams going, and one of them I started on the other thing. Okay, so guys, there's a false alarm. How do I? Okay, guys, there's a. Okay, so I'm gonna go share, copy link, live chat. Guys, there's been a some technical difficulties. This is a really bad way to start a live stream, but I got it to work. Please click on the link above. I'm gonna go to my original Instagram page and change the link. So this is it's just a really confusing thing that happened. I just wasn't entirely sure how to open it. I thought I would be, but it was a little bit more complicated than I thought. So it's a complicated thing. There's two links. Okay, wait. Do I not get to? I'm so sorry this had to start this way. Okay. So if it says there's two watching. What? It says there's two watching. Oh, okay, I've got it. Now it's open. Now it's open. Okay, Orion. It says you were in the, I don't see you in this live chat. I'm gonna leave this open. I'm gonna leave my phone open, but I'm gonna mute it. So this way I can see the live chat. I can see you, Orion. Yes, thank you. Okay, I've changed the link on the Instagram thing. I'm so sorry. There was some crazy confusion. On the other post, it now says it has a direct link to this live stream. This is a really, really awkward way for this to happen. I'm just, you know what? Before we get properly into it, I'm just gonna post this on Twitter just to make sure everyone knows about this. Link to the Wolves live stream. Okay, so we're gonna kind of wait for other people to come in, but Orion, so how are you doing this afternoon, morning, wherever it is where you live? So how are you doing? Just to start out. And I do apologize for the light. By the way, I know it's really awkward. I'm trying to find an angle to make it work. If I move my head, you can see the Captain Spirit poster in the background. And that actually, if I rotate the camera like that bit of red fabric that's hanging off the side of the thing, that is actually the cape that was used in the filming of Captain Spirit. I still have a lot of this bedroom, actually. this is my bedroom, but it is where we shot for Chris's bedroom. We shot the whole movie in my house. And if I tilt the camera up, you'll see the bright glaring lights. You'll also see the multicolored stars on the fan. And I could not figure out a way to remove those without damaging the paint on the fan. So they're here to stay. They're here to stay. I'm fine, and you? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I have a lot of cool souvenirs from Captain Spirit. I had initially wanted to give Ashton more stuff, but I ended up just giving him the coat that he wears as Chris, and we got that coat because it looked like the one in the game, and it turned out he needed a winter coat, so that worked out nicely. And he did buy an extra shirt that was the Osso t-shirt. And speaking of shirts, I'm going to stand up for a second to let you see. I am currently wearing the Wolf Squad hoodie, and underneath that, I have the Space Mission t-shirt. So I have both Diaz outfits on me, and there is a legitimately good chance that when we make Wolves, when we make the actual movie Wolves, we're going to use his actual hoodie on the actor who plays Sean. We'll wash it first, but then we will use it. Probably not the Space Mission. We might need to get a smaller size, but I am a skinny guy, so we might be able to make it fit our child actor who we have as Daniel. Okay. So I don't know who else is going to join. This is really awkward now. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna. Oh, so you were in the French fan film Life is Strange 2. That was very, very good. I saw that. I enjoyed it. And thank you so much for being a part of this community. It's really awesome. So it says we have another person in the chat. I don't know. No one is required to comment anything in the chat. We're just gonna keep this going and see what happens. I hopefully will stream for an hour, but at this point, it's time for me to start talking. So I'm gonna open it up to questions when I feel we have a lot of people. You played Sean, yes, very good. Do you currently live in France? Because if you do, we probably can't have you play Sean in this one. If you live a little bit closer to Franklin, Tennessee, then by all means come and audition for Sean. But yeah, we'll get to that later. So for right now, I want to talk about what inspired me to make this movie and why I'm making this movie. I've wanted to make movies all my life, and it was the big challenge for me was, as I said in Captain Spirit, I was never very good at coming up with original story ideas, and I was always drawn to making adaptations. And Carson Morrissey's fan film What If was a big inspiration for me. And after when Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 came out, I fell so completely in love with it. And as soon as the end credits rolled, when we have that scene of John and Daniel going off on the bus, I was like, it's a shame Carson said he wasn't going to do this. Wait, what if I could do this? And that was like really an exciting but scary feeling. And then I'm like, well, let me replay Captain Spirit. And I replayed that. And I was like, hey, this would make a great short film. And then I spent several months turning that into a reality. And then I went to film school. And all the while during 2019, the episodes were coming out and I was going to film school and learning more and more about how to be a filmmaker. And I was really, really in love with Life is Strange 2 the whole entire time. And I knew I wanted to adapt it, but I was like, let me wait until the whole game is out and I know what the whole story is. So full game comes out, full story. I take a little bit of time to decide if I really want to do this. Time to decide, like, can I make the story work? It is such a big story. What are the right things to cut? What are the right things to change? And eventually I come up with some ideas and I start working on a screenplay. I finished the first draft of the screenplay at the beginning of March 2020. And thank God, March 2020 was such an uneventful month that nothing happened to get in the way. No. Something happened, and I thought, you know what, maybe this year is not the best year to be making a movie. And so I kind of put it on hold. And I've had this script sitting there, gathering dust for a year. And not necessarily. I have been looking at it. I have been tweaking it, updating it a little bit. But I, I have been thinking about this script pretty much nonstop through some very difficult times. I mentioned in the announcement video that like the past year did make me think back on the experience of the Diaz brothers and everything that they went through. And even though we had some bad times, our family had some health scares. We were really, really concerned. And but we ultimately made it through in the end. And the one thing I kept saying, it was the thing that got me through COVID. The thing that got me through the pandemic was like, when this is over, I'm gonna make the movie. That's gonna be the thing that pulls me through. Okay, you live in Montreal now. Okay, can't wait to see. Okay, I got more announcements to come. But basically, that was what led me to. Once the pandemic started to, it was clear that this was going to end. It was clear that things are going back to some form of normality. I went back to the script and I was like, okay, can I actually do this? And the short version is probably not, but I'm going to try. I don't know if you've played, if you're familiar with Life is Strange 2, this is a hard story to adapt. I mean, the original games were like set over the course of a couple days in a small town with like a limited cast. This is like so many locations. And one of the biggest things we're going to lose, as I said in the announcement video again, is we're not actually going to be able to go to the West Coast. We're not going to be able to see the redwoods or the canyons or any of the incredible environments that we saw in Life is Strange 2. We're also not going to be able to film over the course of a full year and see snow and everything. We're going to film this over the course of the summer. We're filming it in July. And if you're wondering why we're filming it in July, it's because we're going to need to work with a child actor and we can't afford to take him out of school. So we're going to film it in the summer. Yeah, that's the basic. So I do want to say, Orion, let me just check that again. So I don't know if you have seen the two fan films, What If and Dawn by Carson T. Morrissey. If you haven't, absolutely check them out. They're amazing. I have been in conversation with Carson quite a bit. I consider we're friends. I can say that. I let him read the script early, and he gave me some feedback, and we talked about it. I did. So he told me to follow my gut and go with this. He gave me a lot of practical advice also. And I asked him if he wanted to be directly involved in any way, and he said no, which I totally respect. He said this should be my thing. This should be like my movie. I don't want to be seen as trying to piggyback off of Carson. I am taking a lot of inspiration from what he did, but I don't want to mention his name too much because this is at the end of the day, it's going to be my project. Yeah, but I will say, if you've seen What If and Dawn, then you should have some idea of just the kind of changes I'm going to make, the kind of cuts I'm going to make. This, I don't think it's going to be as polished as Captain Spirit was. I think it's going to be a lot more basic guerrilla filmmaking. One thing, the first announcement I guess I can make is that I am going to be doing the camera work myself. I'm going to be my own DP. First time I've ever done that. Both of the short films I've directed, I had someone else be the DP. And cinematography is not the aspect of filmmaking that I am the most confident in. I know how to do it, but it's not the thing I was majorly focused on. But at the same time, I do know what I want the movie to look like more than anyone. So that should help. I'm gonna really try to make the film work. It's gonna be a single camera, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to get all the shots and angles I want. But I think it's very unlikely we're gonna have a second camera on set. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. Putting the crew together is one of the bigger challenges that we're gonna face. So let me just check real quick. Let's see. So this is the part where I say I'm open to questions, but we still clearly have a lot of people left to join. I'm gonna Yeah, I'm gonna say okay, it's a new link. Yeah, hopefully people see it. I don't. How many people are still at the old link at this point? Because clearly it didn't work. Okay, so not that many people. Good. Hopefully we get more. Okay, I'm sorry. I guess I'm just waiting for like the more people to join. And we can have an open conversation. But this is still nice. We can still keep going with this, and people can always like come back and like check the playback. I'm gonna try to address the major things. Um, so my we are in casting for the film right now, and I've seen a lot of applications, more applications than for Captain Spirit, which is incredible. Quite a lot of characters in this one, a lot of smaller roles. Uh, if you don't live in Franklin, Tennessee, that's fine because there's a lot of small roles that are only going to be there for 1 or 2 days. I think the entire cast, with the exception of Sean, Daniel, Finn, Cassidy, Karen, and maybe Lila, everyone else in the cast has at most 2 days on set. The grandparents have 2 days. The other Trimmigrants have 2 days. I finished the schedule, the shooting schedule, so I know that no one outside of the roles I mentioned earlier has anything more than 2 days. Um, with that out of the way, my single biggest priority right now is finding the right Sean and Daniel. That is my big priority, and it's not easy because when I was making Captain Spirit, the script always said at the end, Chris looks over into the neighboring yard and he sees Daniel, and that was always written that way. And we really, really looked to find a ethnically appropriate child actor to play Daniel, and we could not find one. It's Franklin, Tennessee, and the role is like stand there for 5 seconds and wave. So we didn't want to go too far out of our way to find a kid. Hey, can you come all the way to Franklin, Tennessee, stand there for 5 seconds and wave? We were just looking. I don't just mean on casting calls. We would literally be in the grocery store, like, is that a Hispanic kid? Is that a Hispanic kid? Oh no, it's not. We were kind of crazy about it, but there's not a very large Hispanic community in this particular area, which makes making this particular movie challenging. It's a 3-week shoot. I have it as a 16 days with a couple days off in between, and then 1 day at the end for pickups. And Sean is there for every single one of those days, and Daniel is only missing from one. So it is quite a commitment for an actor. These two roles are going to be very, very challenging for young actors to portray. But I really want to reach out to anybody, even if they have no acting experience. The only qualification, literally the only qualification I have to play Sean and Daniel is that they have to be Hispanic. Like if I absolutely have to, if I have no other choice, then I could cast someone who passes as Hispanic, but maybe is not Hispanic. I really don't want to have to do that. I really wanted to cast actors who are genuinely Hispanic. But if you must twist my leg, then I'll do it. But I really don't want. I don't want to whitewash it. Okay, I don't want to get two actors that are white and have a tan or like we're Hispanic. Like no, I want to cast two Hispanic actors. And my dream would be to find two actors that are actual brothers, but I don't know if they exist. I want two actors that I can get them in a room together. Hopefully they're like vaccinated and everything, and they can be able to like talk and have a conversation and have chemistry together. The whole movie lives or dies by the casting of these two characters, and we have to get it right. So anybody Yeah, Orion plays Sean. You live in so Orion lives in Montreal. I don't believe he's Hispanic, but I mean, you have some experience with this character before. You'd have to speak English, though. I mean, well, obviously you're typing in English right now, but in the short that I saw, you were speaking French. It might be weird if Sean has a decidedly French accent in the version I'm making. You did a very good job in the film, but this film is going to have a bit of a different requirement because I want Sean to feel and Daniel like they did in the game, raised raised in America, like not no. This is complicated. Yeah, it's okay, Ryan. It's okay. Um, I will. Yeah, I want to see someone else too. I'm really excited to see the actors. I've reached out to actors in the area, and I've heard back from a couple of them. We're still waiting. Yeah, I really, really want the casting to go well. I really want to find the right two people. I care about Sean and Daniel so much, and I want to do them justice by casting the right two people. So that said, the auditions are still open. Initially, I had it open until the end of April. I've extended it to the end of May. But I'm going to focus first and foremost on finding the main two roles, and then kind of branch out to the rest of the cast. I will say regarding the cast, one of the main supporting characters is basically cast at this point. I'm not going to specify which one because I did think about announcing it here, but then I'm like, that's kind of weird to announce one character and then not announce anything else. I think I want to do like a big cast announcement where everybody's together, or at the very least, like have a Sean and Daniel first going forward, make a big deal of them, or the whole supporting cast. I just don't want to like, and we cast this person and nobody else. So regarding the auditions, there's a couple of people that you may notice are not there. A couple of characters that you may know are not listed, and a lot of characters are listed. I couldn't list everybody, but there's a couple of characters that are, for a couple that are cast already, and a couple that are not there because I decided to not include the character in the film. So this is the section of the live stream where I want to go over. Oh, a nice question. So is this a short movie with all episodes together? The film, I think, will be about 2.5 hours, and it will cover the entire story of Life is Strange 2 with some cuts and changes, but in general, it will be the story of Life is Strange 2, all the way from Seattle to the border and whatever happens after that. I'm not going to give away which ending the movie has. But if you've seen What If and Dawn, it's the same thing. It's the full story. It's not a short film. It's going to be the full story, and it's a pretty huge investment. But OMG, I love it now. Oh, thank you so much for that. So people have told Carson over and over again, "Are you going to make a Life is Strange 2 movie? You guys make a Life is Strange 2 movie?" And he's keeps saying no. And I've talked to him, and he's like, "I need to stop talking about him because this is not about him." But like he's like, "Hey, it's not my thing. Also, it's really long and really hard." And without giving anything away, like even though I've cut some stuff, it's still a really hard story to do. There's still going to be special effects. There's still going to be a lot of different locations. Good luck. Good luck. Yeah. Now you realize that this is really hard. But hey, fans have been asking for this, and I've been wanting to make this. So I'm gonna need help. I'm really, really gonna need help and crew. If you live in the Franklin, Tennessee area, but you don't think that you can be cast, if you want to be crew, by all means, I need crew. We have we're gonna need a sound person. We're gonna need a person holding the boom mic at the very least, and then we're gonna need a person for makeup and hairstyling, and then a couple of people just to help with like issues like set construction. There's actual set construction in this. There's going to be some special effects. I did purchase some. I have it right here. This is invisible string. This is used by magicians to make floating, levitating objects. and we're going to use that for a lot of telekinesis, but that means we have to have somebody else standing off camera holding like a stick in the air, making whatever the thing is float, and then in conjunction with Daniel. So I must really say, since the Captain Spirit movie, I believe in you and in the story. Thank you so much. I'm really, really impressed. Captain Spirit, the whole entire time I was making that, I had this project in the back of my head, and I considered that a warm-up. And then like the next 9 months that I spent in film school, this was the big project. This was what I was really, really excited to do. And I'm so excited that I can finally share this, because I've actually gotten people asking me after Captain Spirit, are you going to make Life is Strange 2, the movie? And now I can finally say I am. And it's really, really exciting. And we're going to shoot in July. But first we need a cast and a lot of other things. I did finally do the shooting schedule. I know what the shooting schedule is going to look like, but it's hard. It's hard. So now what I would like to talk about is so I don't really want to get into certain cuts and why they're in the movie, because we haven't seen the movie yet, and I don't want to spoil things that are different. But I just want to clarify why certain characters are not on the call sheet, or are not on the audition forms. First of all, some people are like so minor that I don't want to officially say them yet. And then so you will notice that there is no Charles Erickson on the casting sheet, and that is because that role is already cast. The role of Charles Erickson will be played by Shep Lowry, who played Charles Erickson in Captain Spirit. He also is in Being Carter. He is a genuine friend of mine, and he read the script, and he has agreed to come back and play Charles Erickson. So that is great. However, Chris is included in the auditions, and I would have loved to have invited Ashton Johnson back to play Chris, but he is 13 years old now. He is 13 years old, and he had just turned 11 when we shot Captain Spirit, and even then I was aware we were kind of pushing it in the age, and now he's 13. And wait, okay, it comes in July. I want to clarify that. We're shooting the movie in July. You're not actually going to see the movie until I would say December, like the end of the year. It's going to take the whole year to like finish the editing and stuff. Like there's editing to be done. So I don't want anyone to be that comes in July. It doesn't come in July. That's when we shoot the movie. It's a complicated thing. I would like to get the movie done earlier. With the announcement of Life is Strange 2 Colors coming out in September, and the remastered versions of the first game, Before the Storm, I saw a lot of people who were fans of Life is Strange 2 saying, oh, we feel left out. And that's why I was like, I got to make the announcement now, because I want to show people, hey, the movie's coming. You're not going to be left out. But it is going to take a while. You're going to get a lot of like updates and a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But we're not going to officially talk about I don't know. I don't want to announce a visual release date for the movie before we've shot anything. Like, give me time to at least get the movie shot and cast. That's important. Okay. So Charles Erickson has been cast. Ashton Johnson is not returning, and it pains me that he's not returning. Jolyn High, who played Claire, may or may not be returning. We will see about that. I still have to make a couple of calls regarding that. It'd be great to have her return, but it's a bigger role. And when I talked with her about playing Claire in Captain Spirit, episode 2 had already come out, and so we knew all this stuff about Claire that I deliberately chose not to tell her, because she didn't need to know that for her one scene of checking in on Chris. So she did a great job in Captain Spirit, but I am genuinely not sure if she would be the best person to portray Claire as we know her in Life is Strange 2. So whether or not she's coming back is up for debate. The other thing I wanted to say, one, you may notice that the character of Joey Peterson, the nurse who helps Sean recover after losing his eye, he is not in the casting call either, and that is because that role is already cast. I talked a lot with some old friends from film school, and about making this movie, and does anyone want to be a part of it? And a guy by the name of Rico Scruggs is going to be playing Joey Peterson, so I can say that. And I'm going to say, I've talked with him a lot. I think this is fine. So Rico Scruggs is African American, is roughly Joey's age. But when he started talking about wanting to act, I was like, is there a role? Yeah, I think I can change. I think I make Joey Peterson this character. But you should know that Rico Scruggs is in a wheelchair. And so I have made the executive decision to make Joey in a wheelchair. And I'm not going to directly address it in the dialogue, but I really like the idea because Joey's such a nice guy, and he's the guy who helps Sean adjust to this new disability. And I think it's a nice detail if Joey is also disabled, and it's something that they don't really talk about. In the world of Life is Strange, particularly Life is Strange 2, we see all sorts of interesting characters that have all sorts of interesting stories, and you get to know a little bit about them, and then you move on to the next person. And so I really wanted to feel that way with the cast. I wanted to feel like a whole bunch of different type of people that have all this life experience, all these stories that we only see a little bit of. So I am really excited by the casting of Rico Scruggs as Joey Peterson. And that's the last. I should ask Gonzalo and Roman to play Sean and Daniel. I don't know. I think they're kind of busy. Gonzalo is a pilot. He's living his best life. Roman is a little bit too old to play Daniel. Roman is almost at the age where he can get away with playing Sean, which would be really cool, but I don't know if he'd be up for it. Also, from what we've seen, Roman George is maybe kind of a jerk in real life, which just makes his performance as Daniel even more incredible, because that's not the vibe you get from it at all. But okay, so is there anything I want to? So thank you for that. So now I have to address some major things. And this is the bit I really didn't want to address, but I'm going to address it now. First of all, Anders and Ingrid were part of the casting call when I first put it up. And then it took me a really, really, really long time to realize I don't really need to have them in the movie, do I? They are currently no longer part of the casting call because I sort of realized I don't need them. I mean, they help fill out the Trimmigrants camp and make it more people, but outside of that, they don't really offer much. I think Anders had 3 lines and Ingrid had 2 in the script, and I was like, why? I'm putting them there because I want to be faithful to the game, but I don't think that's 2 extra people that need to be cast. So currently speaking, Anders and Ingrid are not in the script. I might be willing to add them if I find 2 people that can do the accents and look the part. But at the current moment, Anders and Ingrid are not in the script, and they're absent from the thing. And so, if you 2 people, this is the bit I've been hesitating on, that are not in the casting call. And I'm very lucky I haven't gotten anyone asking me why they're not in the casting call. Maybe I should just not say anything. No, I should say them. Because I'm including most of people. I'm including Sean, Daniel, Cassidy, Finn, Karen, Clara, Steven, Chris, Lila, Esteban, Flores, Hannah, Jacob. A lot of the main characters, people that you'll remember, people you'll be excited to see, are there. But I can't include everybody. And I just want to throw out the safety net. Carson cut Jefferson, and he also cut Elliot from Before the Storm. Sometimes when you're adapting a 10 to 15 hour video game into a 2.5 hour movie, you have to cut some stuff. And so if you go to the casting call club, you will notice there is no casting call for Brody, and there is no casting call for Elizabeth. And that's because neither character is in the film. Yes. So the family movie starts in Seattle, ends in Arizona. We're doing the full story of going from Washington to Arizona. that's happening. Although we're not actually going to be shooting in those places, we're going to be faking it. There's a lot of beautiful locations in Tennessee, and I'm really excited to be faking it. I'm still not quite at the point where I can go out and location scout, but we'll be doing that. So to respond to what I just said, Brody, the reason why he's not in the film is because I like what the game does, where it's just you meet a bunch of characters and they help you out and then they go away and then you never see them again. In a film that's a shorter runtime, I realized it would kind of feel like a cheat to have this one character show up and then help them out and give Sean this big pep talk and then disappear and never be seen from again. And do I say it? Do I? Okay, but I actually figured out a way to make the script work where it's not Brody and it's without getting into it, somebody else fills that role. Somebody else fills the role of giving Sean a pep talk and helping them out. And it actually makes the story fit better because it's somebody that comes back later. And I'm not going to say anything more than that, but it's just sometimes you have to take things and combine them and change the order of things. And that's what I did here. I think I made the story work a little bit better. And regarding Lisbeth, I'll be perfectly honest. You can find my Tumblr post when I first played episode 4. I was not a fan of the Haven Point subplot. And to this day, I do get certain enjoyment out of it. I just think it's a lot, and I think they kind of rushed through it. And I think it could have been its own game. It could have been its own story. But the fact that it's just this little subplot that is introduced out of nowhere and then just disappears quite as fast. Plus, kind of like with Jefferson, Lisbeth is a human villain in a story where we don't really need a human villain. And so the last act of the film works a little bit different. Once we get to after the heist and the brothers go their separate, well, the brothers are kind of torn apart after the heist. What happens to Daniel is a little bit different, and I'm excited by it, but I'm not going to go into any more detail. But there is no Lisbeth, there is no Haven Point, there is no haircut. That is cut from the movie. There is no burning church. When people read the script and they're like, this is a really ambitious script, I'm like, well, the game had a burning church. So that is not in the movie. Okay, yeah, there is no haircut. Very, very satisfied that I cut that. I do want to say right about, I am not trying to fix the game. I'm not trying to make the game better. I'm trying to adapt it. I'm trying to make this story fit in 2.5 hours of runtime, which is not easy to do. The game is 10 to 15 hours. That's basically the same length as a season of television. I don't know if any of you are familiar with the M. Night Shyamalan film, The Last Airbender, but that was basically trying to take a season of television and make it into a feature film, and people didn't like it. And the big thing that the critics said was, there's too much explanation, too much exposition, too much trying to explain every detail of what's happening and not enough emotion. So I'm like, okay, if this movie is going to work at all, there have to be moments where we stop and let the characters feel what they're feeling and not trying to rush through plot points as quickly as we can. And because of that, I had to make cuts. And there's certain things that I cut from this script that I'm genuinely upset that I had to cut, or that I wish I could have found a way to put in. But it's just the reality, yeah. But I don't think anyone's going to miss the haircut. I think there's going to be certain things that are cut from the movie that people are going to be like, okay, like, I understand why you cut that. You didn't really need to. I wish I could like explain the cuts and the changes right now, but then I'd be giving away the whole movie. I did make some pretty serious changes at one point. I do want the story to function as an adaptation of Life is Strange 2. But at the same time, I also want it to be enjoyable and digestible by people who don't know Life is Strange 2 and people who didn't play the game. I hear so as you're no doubt aware, films based on video games have a really bad reputation. And there's a lot of different arguments as to why that is. If you look at people that are just film buffs, they say, oh, it's a video game. That's a lesser form of entertainment. That's not art. You can't make a good movie out of a video game. And then in the other spectrum, you have people that are exclusively gamers and they say, well, video games are just better. If you try to make a video game into a movie, you lose the interactivity. And you just can't make a good movie out of a video game. You're downgrading the story. And I understand that, but at the same time, there's a lot of really good movies. And I think there's a lot of good material to use in video games. And I think I think it's possible to take a good video game and take the essence of it and the story and the characters and make a film that is worth watching, even if you don't know the game. And I believe that's what Carson accomplished with his two movies. I believe that's what I accomplished with Captain Spirit. I've shown that to plenty of people who didn't play the game, and they got really into it. So that's what I want to accomplish with Wolves. Oh, okay, you like the haircut. I made a post a while back on Tumblr about like, if someone did make a Life is Strange 2 movie, what is the one thing you want to see? And I got multiple people saying I don't want Sean's haircut at the fire. And I can tell you that that is also not going to be in the movie. So that's cut as well. I mean, a lot of the hair, it is important that the hair gets longer as the brother's journey goes on. And I'm going to have like wigs and stuff to make sure that like as the journey goes on, the hair gets longer. We're also shooting the movie completely out of chronological order, which is going to be really challenging. But we're going to have a lot of like charts on set and a lot of guides to make sure that like, okay, this is when this happens. This is what the hair has to look like. This is what the outfit has to look like. This is where Sean and Daniel are in their arcs. Okay, I'm actually really parched and really thirsty, and I'm going to step away for just 1 second to get some water, and I will be right back. But please, if you have any questions, keep them coming. I will be right back. Okay, just got a little water. Okay, it's you. No, it's not me. On Instagram, I am not Wolf Boy Diaz on Instagram. I am Connor Olin on Instagram. I wish I could help. I live in Denmark. Project's so awesome. Keep up the good work. Okay, so is there any? Yeah, there's definitely other stuff I wanna say. I'm very glad that you're taking the lack of Brody and the lack of Elizabeth well. I do want to say the character of Jacob is in the movie and he's in the Trimmigrants camp. And in my head, Jacob still was from Haven Point, and Haven Point does exist. We just don't actually see it in the movie. So, yeah, I think even in my head, I'll have Brody exist. A lot of the things that exist in Life is Strange 2 are gonna like still exist in my head, but like be off screen. And so I do want to get to an announcement. Unless anyone has any major questions, I do want to get to an announcement, and that is I have licensed music. I have legally licensed music, and I can't. So I'm going to say this now. The film will feature music by the band Chapters. And if you don't know, the band Chapters, spelled capital CHPTRS, all caps, um, they are a really, really great band. And their music is so in tune with Life is Strange, especially Life is Strange 2. It's amazing. When I made the announcement trailer, I had one of those songs, Light. I had the instrumental version of Light. Um, but that music fits Life is Strange so well. And I don't want to name any specific songs. I wanted to kind of be a surprise which songs play in which moments in the film. But I've already licensed most of them because that's the trick. You sign up for like a subscription for a month, and then you get it, and then you cancel, and then you've gotten a bunch of songs for a relatively cheap price. That's producing for you. But I did actually speak with a band. I told them I wanted to use their songs. They said that's fine, and that's great. Here's how you do it. So that's incredible. And if you look up Chapters right now, they're on Spotify, they're on YouTube. They have a whole podcast where they talk about their music and their inspiration, and they're really, really great. And part of this is because I like their music and I think it fits the Life is Strange 2, and I want to use it to make the film better. And a lot of it is also because I want other people to find out about this band and get them more success because they really, really deserve it. So look up Chapters, CHPTRS. Okay, will you include the accident scene? Does Sean loses his eye? Sean does loses his eye. Sean does lose his eye in the film. I really couldn't cut that because that's really iconic. That's a kind of iconic thing. The accident I assume by the accident you mean the heist. The heist goes wrong, and the heist is in the movie. It goes down a little bit differently in the movie. I don't want to say exactly how, but it's a little bit different, and I want you to be surprised. Hold on. Ooh, awesome. I honestly think Haven Point, it was rushed. Like it felt weird. That's the same thing too. It's like I'm in a cult now, Sean. It was weird. And I think if you could probably do an entire story about Haven Point. Maybe I will. Maybe someone else will at some point. But to dedicate like just a little section to it, I'm like, if I'm gonna make Haven Point work, I have to like combine this into two movies. I have to like stretch out Haven Point so far. And I didn't need that. I could cut it and like slightly change Daniel's characterization. Because Daniel is still, when we get to the last act of the film, he's still like really filled with guilt and he's still like is upset. But I do something a little bit different with it. Again, I can't. It's so weird. I keep teasing like, "Ooh, we do something different. We do something different." I don't want people to think that this is going to be so different, like it's going to be not recognizable as the same story. It's still Sean and Daniel. It's still a lot of the same beats are going to be the same. You're going to recognize when certain moments are coming, but at the same time, I don't want it to be like, "Oh, this is just the same story. Why are you even attempting to do it?" Because it is going to be different. And one of the things I realized as I was writing the script that the people that wrote the video game had a lot of constrictions, a lot of constraints. They were trying to write a story where the player was going to have some agency and the player was going to be able to make some choices. But there are certain things in the story that have to happen regardless of what the player wants. And so we have to kind of force our hand and make other characters make decisions that the character can't override, or make the character make decisions off screen. And so I really kind of change points. So like we see Sean is a little bit more of an active character. That sounds weird to say, but we actually get to see his arc. I wrote a full arc for Sean, and I also wrote a full arc for Daniel. And I figured out like what decisions are they going to make in this point in the story. I don't want it to just be the decisions I made. I also want it to be like an emphasis of just like what makes the arc work. I noticed with Sean, especially, people put him up on a pedestal and it's like, Sean is like the greatest character ever. Sean is the best. And I kind of want to be like, I don't want to disrespect Sean at all. Like, I think Sean is an incredible character, but I do want to acknowledge he is a teenager who is thrown into a situation he's not remotely prepared to deal with, and he's gonna make mistakes. And he wants to just be a teenager and be with people his own age, and that's why when he gets to the pot farm, he wants to stay and he wants to just allow himself to be with these people, even though Daniel is not comfortable there at all. And I want to kind of have these moments where Sean is a little bit selfish, and so that it feels more realistic and it feels understandable why he's acting this way. And when he does ultimately make good decisions, you feel it all the more through. You feel when he makes an unselfish decision, you really feel like he's deciding, okay, this is what I have to do. I have to. I want it to feel more realistic, but also honorable. The thing I have with sometimes protagonists like always make the right choices, and those protagonists are not interesting to me, though, because that's not a real person. That's just a role model. And Sean needs to feel like a real person, and Daniel too. Um, a lot of people don't like Daniel, which upsets me. But I do understand, like when we get to episode 3 in particular, I keep pointing out episode 3, but a lot of people are like, why is Daniel acting like a brat? And it is notable that when you get to episode 3, if you were making good choices in episode 2, then Sean and Daniel seem to be on the same page. And then there's a time jump and there's suddenly like this rift between them. And I wanted to write it so that, okay, we see like how the rift happens, and we see like the direction where Sean is going as a character and the direction where Daniel is going as a character. And we see like it needs to feel, yeah. Some people forget Sean is a selfish, angry teenager before the Seattle accident. Kind of obviously wanted to work with something religious in the games, and that's one of the. Okay, yeah. So, as I'm saying, I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to ruin Sean or that I'm trying to like ruin Daniel or anything like that. I'm pointing out that these characters have flaws. 1 second. Hey, can you be a little more quiet? 1 second. Also, regarding the religious stuff, it's not really as prevalent in this version. One of the things I looked at a lot of the reviews that Life is Strange 2 got, and when I was playing it, I was really ignoring the negative reviews and like, oh, you're a hater, you're a hater, you don't like it. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, okay, what the people are saying is that the game is a little bit too it's too all over the place. There's too much going on. It's trying to force every political message. It's like this is about racism, but it's also about immigrants. It's about like the political. It's about police shooting. It's about religion. With the religious stuff going on. It's about a cult. It's about a cult. Oh, but it's about immigrants. It's about what's the stuff? We got to throw in something at the end about homosexuality and that. And here's the thing: important issues. You can't focus on everything in one movie. You have to kind of pick and choose some stuff. And so religion, I do believe that there's important things to be said about religious groups that go too far, but not in this particular movie. I think in this particular movie, you don't really need it. And so that's why that plot line was cut. And so I do, and obviously I don't. I do want to say a lot of people did criticize the game for being too political, and I wouldn't call this film less political, but I would say it's more focused. This story is very specifically, well, first of all, anti-Trump. Like the game, the film does directly reference Trump, and like the game, it is anti-police brutality, which that's become even more topical since George Floyd. That's become something that we can't ignore anymore. It's crazy to go back to like, if you look up the YouTube video that shows the scene of Esteban's death, there's a bunch of people in the YouTube comments saying like, that would never happen. Like, why would the cops shoot it? That's bullshit. And I'm like, guys, you're being you're missing the point. And then I actually have seen a couple of people who have gone so far the opposite way. They're like, no, Matthews was totally justified in shooting him. I mean, he said get down, he didn't get down. What else was he supposed to do? Of course he shot him. And oh my god, that's even worse. How could you And so when I wrote that particular scene, when I wrote the script in general, I put a little bit more emphasis on the police brutality aspect, and that was before George Floyd. And then once that happened, I was like, oh, this like accidentally has become even more relevant and even more topical to talk about. Um, and so that's it. Be aware that okay, I'll have to go. Wish you the best for luck. And if you need help for promo marketing, anything else, ask me. Okay, I can definitely do that. I'm probably gonna have to go too. To be perfectly honest, it's been an hour. Is there anything? So this is the point now. Yeah. Well, anybody who has any remaining questions, ask them now. Ask them now. Okay, I'm gonna look. So I made a couple of comments before I officially announced the movie. I made a couple of comments on social media about, ooh, if you want to see a Life is Strange 2 adaptation, what would you want to see in it? If someone did a Life is Strange 2 adaptation, what would you want to see in it? And I'm gonna look up those comments right now. Okay, where? Okay, yes. So Alex Thayer said I would like a 30-hour film that fills in all the gaps between the episodes. I would like it too. I wish, like when I told people that the script is like a long script. It's 160 pages. It's like 2.5 hours. The movie's gonna be 2.5 hours. I had people say to me, "Oh, that's too long. Can you not cut it down?" I'm like, I'm tempted to just keep adding more. There's stuff that I really wish I could add, stuff that I'm upset that I cut from the game, and I want to add more. But no, I just couldn't. And I'm okay. What was the what was the other stuff? I'm gonna look up anything here. Okay, so more Jacob and Sarah Lee. Jacob's there. Sarah Lee is not for reasons I went into earlier. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cut Sarah. I don't mean to cut a sad little girl, but it's just the direction that I had to go in. I would like to see Sean trying to see if he has powers. That's definitely in there. That moment of him trying to lift the rock is very effective, and it's in the script. A bit more Lila. Okay, Lila is in the movie. She is. I tried to place her like in throughout. I wouldn't say that her role is necessarily expanded, but I definitely kept true to it. And because I really do like Lila, and she does play a role throughout the film. No ugly campfire haircut. That's there, as I said already. Maybe a quick interaction at the school before the accident with Sean and Jen. Jen, okay, she's not in the casting call, and that's because we don't actually see her. Like in the game, she is an off-screen character entirely, but she is referenced. She is talked about. So, and we do see a little bit before the accident. So that's fine. Sean's life, more Captain Spirit. Chris, like Lila, I found ways to include Chris in the film, where he's. Again, I don't want to give it away, but he's there. He's there, and as you can tell, I really love Chris as a character. So I would not want to cut him. But his role is it's there. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to say too much. Making a film adaptation would probably be super hard, though, considering how long the game is. Lol. Help me. I love this person that just says no incest. I can promise you there is no incest in this movie. I know people ship that, and those people are. No incest in the movie. I can guarantee you that. See you, man. Okay, it looks like people are leaving. And it's okay. It's been an hour at this point. Okay, so I think I have the link to the auditions. If please tell people who live in the area, like spread the word out. Like I need people audition. I'm specifically looking for Sean and Daniel. So with that being said, I think that's everything. I think that's everything I wanted to go over. Listen to Chapters music; they're great. I okay. This went pretty good, I think. Thank you guys. I'm going to be signing off now. Any last minute things? Any last minute? No last minute things. Sad. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you watch it back. And if you say anything in the comments of the stream, if you have any questions afterward, put them in the comments. I will get to them. Thank you very much. Bye.